As a DP, creating dynamic images during midday sun like this can be really difficult. I'm gonna show you how I did it on a recent TV show. I wanna start off by showing you the sequence so you understand the space we're in and what we needed to do. Our first shot establishes the alleyway that we are shooting in. We see some of the people in the alleyway. We see Jesus enter from the back. We see his reaction. This is the frame we're gonna focus on later. And then we see a few more of his disciples having interactions in the background. Now that you know what the sequence looks like, let's look at some BTS. My main lighting tool for this was a 20 by 20 silk that we tied to surrounding buildings and walls. Basically, this just cut down the back of the alleyway that was getting the majority of the natural sun. The second tool I used a lot was a 1200D from aperture with the narrow reflector on it. The narrow reflector gave us a better throw and also a little bit more output because we are shooting midday. One of the things that really helped was having the art team put these natural linen sheets to break up the light. These help so much, especially because we can't obviously show there's a 20 by overhead, but this helped kind of break up a little bit more light and also give us little speckles, as you can see down here. This is actually natural light, undiffused, nothing. You can see it hitting some of our talent here, and that just made it feel a little bit more real. And we didn't really need to control the lighting as much on this side of the alleyway, really just at the back where we were shooting. This is an image from our location scout, and as you'll see, we actually didn't use this shot in the sequence because we ended up looking down the backside of the alley and deciding it didn't look very good. So one of the things that I really want to mention is, as a DP, you have to work with what you have. Don't get too set on one idea, because if I had gone for this shot, you would have seen a lot of really hot highlights down at the end of this alleyway. So instead, we shot around it. We used the linen hanging overhead and we switched our angle. So overhead here, you can see this is our 20 by. That's directly hanging overhead. You can't see it because it's hidden by the linen, but that is what's giving such nice fall offs right here, taking down all these things and making this just a little bit more controlled, giving us a little space to work. Now, we did have a 1200D in this frame, but I would have to say it's not playing a whole lot. But if you wanted to know, there's a 1200 right back there, trying to just give these people a little bit of an edge. I don't think it played that much in this scene, but it is there, and we use it later. Now, this is where it gets really interesting, right? You can only do so much lighting on the wide, but when we get into a tight, you're gonna see a few more things. First thing let's address is our 20 by silk. This is still in the same position it was, giving the nice softer fall off on the left side and also providing our key for our main actor. Right here, right here, right here. This is all the 20 by doing a really great job. It's a 20 by of silk. I would have rather gone with a 20 by of highlight, but I forgot to put in my rental order, so the 20 by silk was doing a great job. The next thing we did is we put a 4 by of neg on the right side of the frame. This is super common in tights to jump in and give a little bit nicer contrast ratio. So you can see this off to the right side, and this is really giving a lot of this fall off coming down the right side of our actor's face. The last thing I really want to key in on is our 1200D that we had off to the right side of the frame. Now, historically, for the rest of the scene, our 1200 has been over here, hiding behind this wall. But for this, because obviously we could see that, and it wouldn't hit our actor, we had to move it to the right side. You can really see this coming along the top of his head and his hair, and then really obviously down right here in his armpit. Our 1200 was positioned right over here with the narrow reflector and about a half CTO on it. That's giving us a nice hair light, some nice definition from the background, and just livening up the image with a little bit of color, as these are mainly cool tones, so bringing in a warm tone was a really nice touch. Although this scene wasn't super intensive on our lighting units, what we did have to do was really work with what we had. We had the linen strips above, we had the 20 by, and we had a wall to our left providing a natural blockage from the sun as the day progressed. So that's the biggest thing I got out of this, was use the lighting and use the modification where you can, but if you work with what you've got, you're gonna be able to double that instead of just throwing lighting fixtures and scrims at a scene.